Hello. Many of you have asked me to play a song on my ukulele, and I'm going to. But first, I want to tell you a story about a bird, a fish, and a lizard. The bird lived in a cave by the spitting sea and was twice as big as either of her sisters. This is because when food arrived, she would push the others out of the way and thrust her beak forward to collect the regurgitated meal. The bird was a wild thing, sharp and real, and while her feet were flat, she had a beak, pointed, that she would thrash whenever we reached into the cave to grab her. We, the researchers, were tasked with finding out how quickly the herring gull chick grew, and so we would return to the cave every few days to catch, weigh, and remeasure. I like to volunteer to capture the cave bird because she reminded me of what it felt like to be alive. As I lowered my body onto the salt-stained rock, the bird would push her way back, and I'd have to reach it out after her, feeling for tattered feather and the fast-beating motion of a heart. When I finally grabbed hold and drew her out, she flapped and thrashed with ferocity, but was much lighter than you would have imagined. Later, when my friend Annie and I walked around the island, we talked about the deep unease of our stagnation. We found that we could only move so far in one direction before we would have to circle back, round, to the place we had just been, until the ocean, green trees, and Lightkeeper's house blended into a mirage of singular feeling. It is difficult to live on an island. It is difficult to study wild things. And because of this, I had a tendency to believe I was not good at what I did. What if my passion and focus were not enough? What if I was never able to truly produce something of value? My decision to come to College of the Atlantic was as revolutionary as a bird who trusts it has the ability to fly. It was not an easy decision to make, but it was the only choice that could match the burning intensity of my heart. As I sat with my freshman class, we listened to the words of our professors, human ecologists who had found ways of expressing themselves across disciplines. They congratulated us on making the choice to come here, promised us that the next 4 years would not be easy, and implored us to fall in love with people, poetry, places, animals, with life. The fish was pulled from a frozen lake by a translucent string as we, the students, crouched over the hole staring down through the ice. When the fish emerged onto the ephemeral sheet, we recognized it instantly as an ancient being. We bent closer, transfixed by its color and open mouth. Lake Mother, deep freeze, mystery from beyond. We longed to explain the fish, but we could sense that myth and poetry would be all we had, that words, or the deep absence of words, would be the only thing left to feed our souls. We killed the fish by pushing a knife through its skull, and as we sliced its stomach open, entrails and orange eggs spilled out. Even as the fish moved from life to death, we could still not explain it. Yet, as we pulled it from the burning coals, each of us could take a piece of its body, could place the morsel into our mouth and taste the fish, a thing once incomprehensible, but now contained. If I can guarantee you of one thing, it is that every person graduating with me today has been confronted by challenge. As human ecologists, we have asked provoking questions, surrendered to new experiences, and remained open to change. We have shaped it, molded it, created it, lost hold, and discovered it again. And while there is grief in this graduation, a decisive ending, there should also be much celebration. We have met our challenges head on, and instead of defaulting to anger or self-limiting belief, we have emerged lightheartedly with strengthened passion. And so finally, there was the lizard, who lived in a heated tank in the Sedona, Arizona pet shop, as I, the human ecologist, stared and wondered if it was happy. Did the lizard feel bored? Did it long for a more substantial existence? In these final months as seniors, we have been pushed to our limits. As we have drawn closer and closer to the moment of emerging, the world has screamed after us to keep fighting. And, fully comfortable with discomfort, we have responded by remaining passionate about learning, pushing through the harsh conditions and producing unique and meaningful projects. We have earned this diploma, and we will use it to help the world. But it is very important for us to recognize that it is okay to not be constantly pushed to our limits. The greatest task we have is to become content with ourselves, to lie still with our eyes fixed forward in compassion, to resonate love and gratitude for all that life has given us. To all of you who have come here today, I want to thank you for whatever role you have played, for whatever part you have contributed. Thank you for investing in a human ecological education. Your support, belief, and love has been felt. And so, upon this graduation, I have this to offer: a bird, a fish, and a lizard. The practice, the poetry, and the punchline. It's time to sing. All right, a lot of you guys know this song, so I'm hoping that you'll join in on the chorus. You'll get it. About 3 years ago, didn't know where I would go. Now that the high school thing was over, SAT scores and admissions, common application revisions, tests to decide and measure your worth. And still so many things to do, like register and choose, not to mention deciding on a major. What would be my major? And then suddenly a letter arrived for me from a little school in Maine. And my life changed. Life changing, world changing. Everyone, life changing, world changing. You don't even have to choose a major. And despite reservations, unrealistic expectations, I packed my bags and headed east. And I arrived at COA on a sunny day, oblivious of the winter coming. And soon I had new sets of worries as I walked through snow flurries, like, do trees have human consciousness? And how to solve for climate change, save a mountain range, and make everyone love creatures. But life changing, world changing, life changing, world changing, as long as you can survive the winter. Well, I could be a scientist, or marine biologist, or maybe just make pottery. Because with a little bit of self-direction and lots of passion, anything can be human ecology. And there really are no boxes unless you love boxes. Then you should build a senior project out of boxes. So if you wonder too, is COA right for you? Well, only you can answer that question. But life changing, world changing, life changing, world changing. Thank you for these 4 long, beautiful years. I'll hold dear.